Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we've got a stack of sources detailing a very specific prediction.
Incredibly specific. We're not looking at a whole year. We're not even looking at the whole zodiac.
No, this is just for one sign, Aries, focusing really sharply on the year 2026.
That's right. And the source material is, well, it's incredibly confident. It's basically saying 2026 is the turning point for Aries, delivering two huge life pillars: true love and wealth.
It's a massive claim. So our mission today is to really unpack this. We need to look at all the planetary movements they're citing: Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Jupiter,
Mars, the North Node, yeah, the whole lineup.
Exactly. And figure out why the source thinks this particular confluence of energy just locks in these outcomes. I mean, they're not talking about possibilities here.
No, they're practically guaranteeing results. They even open with this almost a decree, saying that after all the intense eclipses of the previous year, 2026 is when, and this is a quote, the dust settles and the gold is revealed.
So it's like an astrological three-act play.
It is. Moving Aries from what felt like chaos and prep work straight into a place of, established authority.
Okay, let's start with Act 1 then, the foundation. The source says Aries will finally claim its power because Saturn and Neptune are entering the sign at the same time in 2026. That's huge.
It's truly huge. These are major, slow-moving energies. And Saturn, the planet of structure, maturity, discipline, for it to enter Aries.
Which is all about raw drive, action, sometimes impatience.
Right. It's like putting a powerful engine on a high-speed track for the first time.
Yeah.
Aries is that cardinal fire sign, and Saturn, coming in at 0 degrees in the spring, is basically handing over the blueprint and like a professional driver's license.
I remember the source used this phrase, daddy is home energy. But that feels like it's more than just discipline. It sounds like it's about taking all these dreams Aries has been chasing and finally giving them a real formal structure.
That's it exactly. Aries energy can be a bit scattered, or maybe seen as too aggressive. Saturn's influence here isn't to punish. It's to provide gravity, to give things a lasting form.
So the actions they take are finally taken seriously.
Yes, that's the key. It results in what the source calls a massive maturity upgrade, and it reframes the past few years. All those struggles, they weren't just struggles.
They were preparation.
They were the raw materials you needed to get ready for this incoming level of authority. It's like you had to learn how to fight before you were given the keys to the castle.
Okay, so structure is in place. But at the same time, the social scene is shifting profoundly thanks to Pluto.
Yes, Pluto, which the source says is now firmly entrenched in Aquarius.
Activating the 11th house. So what happens when Pluto, the planet of deep transformation, hits the house of social circles and networks?
Well, if we're talking about Aries claiming authority, the 11th house it's your social groups, your hopes, your larger network. And Pluto moving through there is rarely gentle. It's not just, updating your contacts list. It tends to demolish and then reconstruct it.
And transformation almost never feels comfortable. Does the source talk about the conflict that comes with that? I mean, weeding out your network.
It does, but implicitly. Pluto's job is to purge what's irrelevant. For Aries, whose whole thing is to lead and move fast, this transit forces a kind of selectivity.
So you have to be careful about who you let in.
Extremely. The prediction is so direct, you will meet powerful people who can open doors. But that only happens after you've cut loose the connections that don't fit your new Saturnian structure.
Yeah.
This isn't about being popular.
It's about strategic power.
Exactly. Your new network has to mirror the authority you've just built for yourself.
Okay, so we've got the maturity, the structure, the powerful network. That's a solid launch pad. Let's move to Act 2, the wealth dimension, because structure usually paves the way for material success. Where does the source say Aries will find the gold? And what's the timing on that?
Okay, so this part really hinges on Jupiter, the great expander. It enters Cancer in May 2026, and this is where the prediction gets really, really tangible.
Jupiter in Cancer? What makes that placement so potent for an Aries, specifically for money?
It's all about the foundation. Jupiter in Cancer lights up your 4th house.
Home, roots, security.
Physical foundations, even inherited wealth,
Yeah.
all of it. And Cancer is the sign of nesting, of emotional security. So Jupiter's presence there basically guarantees expansion in those areas.
Which is why the source calls it a classic placement for real estate luck.
It is. It's a classic.
That makes perfect sense. It's not just luck, is it? It's connecting that emotional safety to material growth. You feel secure enough to actually invest and build something.
Exactly right. The source points to a triad of benefits. 1, real estate luck. 2, expansion of family, which could be literal or, your chosen tribe. And 3, and this is crucial, feeling emotionally secure enough to build an empire.
The confidence you get from that solid foundation is what attracts the wealth.
Yes. And the claims are bold. It predicts a sudden increase in assets or property value. The foundation you've literally built becomes more valuable.
I want to challenge that, though, the whole sudden increase idea. Usually assets and property, that takes action, not just passive luck. Does Aries just sit back and watch it happen?
That is an excellent question. And that's where Mars, Aries' ruling planet, comes back into the story later that summer.
Right. Mars goes retrograde in Leo.
It does. And a retrograde can feel like a pause or a reversal, but in this specific context, it's actually the key mechanism for active income.
Mars retro in Leo, that hits the 5th house, which is usually creativity, fun, romance. How does a creative retrograde turn into money?
It forces you to return to unfinished business, specifically passion projects. The source suggests this is the channel where old, shelved creative ideas or even business plans get rediscovered.
But with a new perspective.
A completely new perspective, because now you're looking at them with the benefit of Saturn's structure and Pluto's powerful new network. An old idea that maybe failed because of bad planning,
or not knowing the right people,
now has the maturity and the connections to actually succeed, and crucially, to bring in money. So the wealth is both passive, from the property, and active, from your own creativity.
That is a much richer picture. It's not just one lucky break, it's 2 different kinds of expansion working together.
Precisely. And that creative 5th house energy, well, it's the perfect bridge into Act 3, true love and soul bonds.
Okay, so if they guaranteed wealth, the stakes for romance are pretty high. Let's start with the biggest claim, that deep spiritual connection. The source ties that to the North Node.
It does. The North Node represents destiny, our karmic future. And in 2026, it's in Pisces, lighting up the 12th house.
The 12th house, that's the realm of the unseen, the subconscious.
Past lives, karma, all that deep stuff.
So we are not talking about scrolling through dating apps here.
Oh, absolutely not. This is deep soul-level stuff. When the North Node is in your 12th house, destiny is asking you to go inward into your spiritual or subconscious life. This placement opens the door for a deep spiritual soulmate connection.
And the source is really specific. It calls it a soul bond.
Yes, it explicitly makes that distinction. This is not a superficial fling. This person won't just be fun. They will fundamentally challenge you, elevate your spiritual perspective. It's about integrating your outer authority from Saturn with your inner world. It often feels, faded.
So that's the deep karmic bond. But love and pleasure, that's also the 5th house, which we just talked about with money. How does that Mars retrograde in Leo play back into the romance side of things?
Well, the Mars retrograde is the more immediate, actionable layer of romance. Because the 5th house rules pleasure, dating, love affairs. A retrograde there naturally brings your focus back to the past.
And the source gives a really specific dual outcome, doesn't it? It's either a reconnection with an old flame or rediscovering that money-making passion project.
Yes, and what's so fascinating is how it all integrates. The old flame returning isn't just a rerun of an old relationship.
Because you're not the same person.
You're not. This time, Aries is meeting that person with all this new maturity, this established structure from Saturn. So the question for you becomes, do you use this new power to fix an old connection that maybe now has a real shot at lasting? Or do you channel that 5th house energy into the passion project that pays?
That's a big question. Is the universe forcing a choice here? Love or money? Or do they support each other?
They're absolutely meant to be mutually supportive. Think about it. The fulfillment you get from revisiting a creative passion makes you a more whole, more attractive person. That energy either draws in that karmic soul bond from the 12th house, or it lets you approach the old flame with so much more emotional security.
That security you built in the 4th house.
It all connects. It signals a year where Aries is so internally complete that your relationships and your material life have to rise up to reflect that new stability.
Okay, let's try and put all of this together for a final takeaway. We have Saturn locking in structure and maturity.
Right. Then Pluto comes in and transforms your network into one with real influence.
Jupiter guarantees that foundational wealth, the real estate luck. And then there's this clear path toward love, both a deep spiritual soulmate
and a very real, tangible chance to revisit a past romance thanks to Mars.
It really does confirm the source's conclusion, doesn't it? That 2026 is the year you finally receive the rewards after years of hard work.
The convergence is just too powerful to ignore. It makes true love and wealth very likely your new reality.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this is a big but, only if you take intentional action.
That intention is everything. This isn't a year to just sit back and wait. It's a year where the universe is laying down all the infrastructure for you. And the source leaves us with this crucial instruction. Do not let this year pass without setting big intentions. The universe is backing you up 100%.
That's the ultimate takeaway, really. These transits, they activate potential. But the Aries person has to meet that energy halfway. You have to define what you actually want to build with it.
Because if you don't consciously apply that structure Saturn is offering,
It could all be wasted on old, inefficient habits.
So here's a final provocative thought for you to consider. Given this predicted environment of massive maturity, this brand new, robust structure that Saturn is providing, what is the one specific practical intention in either love or wealth that would be your most strategic focus? What does claiming your power practically look like when the structure is finally in place for you to use it? Go define that. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.